Black people can't be anti-Semitic. We are Jew. You understand what I'm saying? We are Jew. So cool out until you do your fact.
Hollywood loves its scandals, but sometimes the biggest shock isn't a messy breakup or a bad movie. It is when a celebrity gets exposed for something way uglier, like being a racist. Here are 20 Hollywood celebs who got caught being racist and got the treatment for it. Let me tell you, your favorite star is also on the list. Number 1, Ben Affleck. So, Ben Affleck didn't exactly get caught saying something racist, but his attempt to hide an awkward truth ended up making things worse. Back in 2015, he appeared on an American TV series, Finding Your Roots, where celebrities dig into their family history. Sounds harmless, right? Well, turns out Affleck's ancestors weren't exactly model citizens. One of them had owned slaves. Instead of just addressing it like it was part of his family's past, and he hates that, Affleck apparently asked the show's producers to cut that part out. And they did. But then, Sony emails leaked. Suddenly, everyone knew what Affleck tried to bury, and people weren't happy. Honestly, if he had just owned it from the start, it probably wouldn't have been a big deal. But the whole cover-up made it look way worse, like he tried to hide something shameful and got caught in the act. In the end, Affleck apologized, saying he was embarrassed, which is fair. But by then, the damage was done.
True that there's so much of people's history that gets lost over time.
Ben Affleck is apologizing and says he's embarrassed for asking the PBS program Finding Your Roots to edit out the discovery that one of his ancestors had owned slaves. The Oscar winner posting on Facebook, "I regret my initial thoughts that the issue of slavery not be included in the story. We deserve neither credit nor blame for our ancestors."
Number 2, Paula Deen. Paula Deen's career basically imploded overnight in 2013, and not because of her love for butter. During a lawsuit involving racial discrimination in her restaurant, Deen admitted to using racial slurs in the past. But that wasn't even the worst part. She also confessed to fantasizing about hosting a Southern plantation-style wedding for her brother, complete with black waiters dressed like pre-Civil War servants. Yeah, not exactly the kind of dinner party you would want an invite to. Once the news broke, her sponsors didn't waste any time. They dropped her faster than a stick of butter on a hot pan. Her cooking show got canceled, and her entire brand crumbled. Deen insisted that she wasn't racist, and that she'd grown since those comments. But by then, people weren't in the mood for apologies. Turns out, no amount of butter can smooth over that kind of mess.
I think black people feel the same prejudice, that white people feel. But I have a young man in my life, and his name is Hollis Johnson, and he's black as that board.
Here, isn't he here? Is Hollis here?
Come
Hi,
out here, Hollis. We can't see you standing against that dark board.
Number 3, Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson's scandal felt less like a PR nightmare and more like a scene from a movie that should have never been filmed. While promoting his film Cold Pursuit in 2019, Neeson casually dropped a bombshell, and not the good kind. He told a story about how, years earlier, a friend had been raped by a black man. Neeson said he spent weeks roaming the streets, hoping to find, in his words, some black bastard to pick a fight with so he could kill them. Yes, he actually said that. He claimed he felt ashamed afterward and saw it as a learning moment. But the internet was not buying it. The whole thing sounded less like a learning moment and more like he was treating someone else's trauma as his own excuse for violent revenge. People were shocked, and his reputation took a serious hit. I mean, the guy played Qigong Jin. We were expecting wise mentor energy, not whatever that was.
You're admitting that it was wrong. You've learned from that. But you have to also understand the pain of a black person hearing what you said.
Absolutely.
That.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. And at the time, even though it was nearly 40 years ago, I didn't think about that. All those things surprised me.
Number 4, John Wayne. John Wayne's legacy has been under fire for years, mostly because of one infamous interview from 1971. In a sit-down with Playboy, Wayne let loose with some opinions. He flat out said he believed in white supremacy. Yep, those exact words. And claimed black people weren't ready to lead. As if that wasn't bad enough, he also justified America's treatment of Native Americans by claiming settlers were just trying to improve the land. Yeah, apparently in Wayne's world, colonization was just one big home improvement project. For some, Wayne's comments were chalked up to a man of his time. But even in 1971, plenty of people knew that stuff was straight up wrong. Years later, his legacy still sparks debate, and there have even been calls to remove his name from landmarks.
But what about the civil rights? I mean, it's necessary.
What about the civil rights?
Well, we have 20 million blacks on this continent.
Right.
It was necessary to extend rights to them that perhaps for the first 199 years were denied them in this free America.
I guess that they've had a pretty tough break, but not quite as bad as you and your do-gooder friends would have them believe. They live as well here as they live in any other country over that 199 years. True, I think they do have a right to more rights, but it isn't a thing where the rest of the country should feel terribly guilty about anything because they have had a better life here and their fathers and mothers than they would have had any place else.
Number 5, Fisher Stevens. Fisher Stevens might not be a household name, but if you have seen the 1986 movie Short Circuit, you'll remember him, or rather, his very questionable role. In the film and its sequel, Stevens played Ben Jabatuya, an Indian scientist with a thick accent and some heavy cultural mannerisms. The problem was Fisher Stevens is an Indian. He is a white guy in brown face. Yeah, it is as bad as it sounds. Back then, Hollywood was infamous for giving white actors ethnic roles instead of just hiring actors from those communities. But Stevens' performance was cringy, right down to the exaggerated accent and awkward stereotypes. Years later, Stevens admitted the role was absolutely wrong and said he regrets doing it.
Number Johnny 5. Am I not telling you not to go outside of the doors?
Outside of doors is city.
Tired of expensive, low-effort script writers for your YouTube channel? Autoscripter.ai is the ultimate solution. Say goodbye to low-quality, poorly retention amateur scripts that fail to generate thousands of views for your channel. At a fraction of the cost, Autoscripter.ai helps your videos go viral. In just 3 steps, Autoscripter.ai creates a polished script tailored to your needs. Just input your title concept, select your tone and style. The intuitive interface makes editing and refining effortless, fast, smart, and trusted by hundreds of satisfied users who have already discovered the amazing tool. Start your free trial today and watch Autoscripter.ai transform your YouTube channel. Just click the link in the video description below now. Number 6, Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley may be hailed as the king of rock and roll, but his throne has always had a shadow hanging over it. While Elvis undeniably shaped modern music, a lot of what made him famous was heavily borrowed or, let's be real, taken from black musicians who never got the same recognition. In the 1950s, rock and blues were thriving in black communities long before Elvis hit the stage. Artists like Big Mama Thornton and Arthur Crudup had already laid the groundwork. In fact, Elvis's hit song, Hound Dog, that was originally sung by Big Mama Thornton, and her version had way more grit. But when Elvis recorded it, his cleaner, radio-friendly version shot to the top, while Thornton's contribution faded into the background. Critics argue that Elvis profited off black music without giving enough credit, which made it a classic case of cultural appropriation. Even though some black musicians respected Elvis for bringing their music to mainstream audiences, others felt he reaped all the rewards while their work stayed overlooked. The debate still sparks heated discussions today about whether Elvis was a musical bridge or just another guy who took credit for someone else's rhythm.
Trying to debunk this rumor that Elvis had said at one point that the only thing African Americans could, or at the time, the only thing Negroes can do for me is buy my shoes, or buy my records and shine my shoes. Only thing they can do. And so this became very much, in the African American community, it became widely believed. I finally found it, where it emanated. It was in a magazine article, a magazine called Sepia.
Number 7, Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen's chaotic personal life has always been a train wreck in slow motion. But one of his nastier moments involved accusations of racism, and no, we're not talking about his wild rants about tiger blood. Back in 2011, Sheen's ex-wife, Denise Richards, accused him of throwing racist insults at her during arguments. According to reports, Sheen allegedly used slurs while speaking about Richards and made derogatory remarks about her friends. And because Sheen's personal life has always been less 2.5 men and more one man's ongoing disaster, the accusations didn't exactly surprise anyone. Sheen never fully addressed the claims, which only added fuel to the fire. Given his track record from public meltdowns to offensive remarks, the whole situation felt like yet another chapter in Charlie Sheen's implosion saga. At this point, the guy's controversies could fill their own reality show, assuming anyone would actually want to watch it.
He had threatened you at one point also, and at the time you said that you were filing because you could no longer accept his abusive and threatening manner. So had he been abusive to you?
At times, yeah.
Number 8, Paula Abdul. Paula Abdul spent years charming audiences as the warm-hearted judge of American Idol, but there is one moment that had fans raising eyebrows. During the show's early seasons, Abdul was called out for mocking contestants with accents, usually exaggerating their speech in a way that felt less like playful teasing and more like a cringe-worthy impression nobody asked for. One moment that particularly stood out was when she imitated a contestant's accent mid-audition, complete with exaggerated speech patterns that left viewers uncomfortable. While Abdul likely intended it as harmless humor, the moment felt tone-deaf, especially since American Idol was all about celebrating diverse talents from different backgrounds. Abdul never faced the kind of career-ending backlash others have experienced, but the moment lingered as an uncomfortable reminder that jokes about accents can easily cross the line, from funny to offensive, and Abdul landed on the wrong side of that line.
Oh my God, I thought you sang twice.
Only on Fox tonight, Paula explains her Fox faux pas.
And then Simon's going, who went first? Who's on second? Who's on first? What's on second? Who's on? And we're all going, I think it's Jason Castro. No, it's David. So it became like, we were like, we've never done that in 7 seasons.
Number 9, Chet Hanks. If there is one person who has mastered the art of accidentally starting chaos, it is Chet Hanks, the son of Tom Hanks, no less. While his dad is out here playing Mr. Rogers and Saving Private Ryan, Chet somehow turned into the family's walking PR disaster. Chet has repeatedly come under fire for cultural appropriation, particularly for adopting Jamaican patois in social media videos, and not in a wow kind of way. It was more like a car crash meets karaoke situation, and the internet wasn't having it. People called him out for turning an entire dialect into some weird party trick, with many pointing out that black communities usually face discrimination for speaking patois, yet here was Chet treating it like a novelty. And if that wasn't enough, Chet's history of using racially insensitive language didn't help his case. While he has tried to defend himself by claiming he was just having fun, critics didn't believe him. Safe to say, Chet's attempt at cultural appreciation ended up looking more like cultural appropriation, and the whole thing left his reputation hanging by a thread, or whatever was left after the internet finished roasting him.
Big up the whole island, massive. It's your boy Chetana, coming straight from the Golden Globes, you want saying? Me father Tom Hanks presenting in a what soon forward come. Big up, tune in.
Number 10, Megan Fox. Megan Fox has always had that too cool to care energy, but sometimes her attempts to sound edgy have landed her in hot water. During interviews, Fox faced backlash for making racially insensitive comments, particularly when she described working with an Asian male crew member by comparing him to the cartoon character Mr. Miyagi. Yeah, not great. Fox's comment felt especially off because it played into an old, tired stereotype, turning an entire culture into a punchline. While Fox didn't seem to realize the weight of her words in the moment, the internet wasn't about to let it slide. Critics called her out for the comment, and many saw it as yet another example of casual racism slipping into Hollywood conversations without people noticing, or worse, pretending it is just a joke.
That's David. That was my first boyfriend. Hi, David Gallagher. How are you? That's her fault. She didn't pass on.
You didn't know? Number 11, Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino has built his entire career on shocking dialogue, brutal violence, and a whole lot of "what did he just say" moments. But one thing people have really called him out for is his heavy, very heavy, use of racial slurs in his films. Tarantino scripts are practically loaded with the N-word, and while his defenders argue that it is all the historical accuracy or character development, others have said, yeah, no, it is just excessive. Spike Lee even called him out back in the day, slamming Tarantino's obsession with tossing racial slurs into every other sentence, like he is scoring points for it. Take Django Unchained, for example. Sure, it is set in the pre-Civil War South, but Tarantino had actors dropping the N-word over 100 times. Even Samuel L. Jackson, who has worked with Tarantino for years, has publicly defended him. But people still question if Tarantino's just using art as an excuse to be provocative. At some point, it starts to feel less like gritty storytelling and more like Tarantino's just enjoying the shock factor a little too much.
To play those off of each other. You know, I wanted you to have that frustration and have that pain, and then I want the audience to need to have Django to have retribution. He needs to take care of these guys in order for it to be a satisfying experience. And then, when I have my big sequence where I'm allowing it to happen, then I wanted to just go all in.
Right.
You mind telling me what the hell you doing?
I confirmed that Pamela is at Candyland.
Sure it's her?
He didn't call her by name, but she's a young lady with marks on her back and speaks German. Now, while it's not wise to...
Number 12, Michael Richards. Michael Richards will always be remembered as Kramer from Seinfeld, but in 2006, he went from TV legend to that guy who imploded on stage. During a stand-up performance at the Laugh Factory, things went south fast. When some audience members started heckling him, Richards snapped, and what followed was a full-blown racist meltdown. He screamed the N-word repeatedly, shouted references to lynching, and just kept digging deeper, like he thought he would win the crowd back if he yelled loud enough. Guess what? He didn't. The fallout was brutal. His career pretty much flatlined overnight, and the footage of the incident spread like wildfire. Richards later apologized on The Late Show with David Letterman, but it was too late. Even Jerry Seinfeld, who was sitting next to Richards during that awkward apology, looked like he was trying to hold the whole thing together with sheer willpower. Richards went from sitcom royalty to a walking PR disaster in under 5 minutes, and his career never really recovered.
I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry to the African American community for the upset. And as a performance artist, in the course of what comes through in the motion of my work, I can say that I'm happy this has all come about because it's out in the open, and I've been a conduit to something that I think is quite meaningful.
Number 13, Mel Gibson. The rant heard around the world. In 2006, Gibson was arrested for DUI, and instead of quietly accepting his ticket like a normal person, he went on a wild anti-Semitic rant. During the arrest, Gibson reportedly told the officer that Jews are responsible for all the wars in the world, because you know that is definitely what you would say when you were trying to get out of a DUI. If that wasn't bad enough, in 2010, Gibson's ex-girlfriend, Oksana Grigorieva, released recordings of him spewing even more racist remarks. In one particularly disturbing clip, Gibson is heard telling Grigorieva that if she gets raped by a pack of N-words, it will be her fault. Yeah, this was a full-on disaster. Gibson's career took a nosedive, with studios cutting ties and public opinion turning against him. While he has since tried to rebuild his image, those rants still follow him like a bad smell. The kind that sticks to your clothes no matter how much Febreze you spray.
I'm just telling you the truth. I don't like it. I don't want that woman. I don't want you.
His comments allegedly get worse, turning to racial slurs, which new reports say led to the William Morris talent agency dropping Gibson.
Number 14, Kanye West. Kanye West's controversies used to be your typical Kanye being Kanye moments. Bizarre award show speeches, Twitter rants, and general chaos. But in 2022, things took a much darker turn. West went on a spree of openly anti-Semitic comments. And we're not talking vague implications. We're talking straight up praising Hitler. In an unhinged interview with Alex Jones, Kanye flat out said he likes Hitler and openly admired Nazi ideology. He also claimed Jews were controlling the media and blamed them for various conspiracies. The backlash was instant and brutal. Companies like Adidas, Balenciaga, and Gap dropped him faster than you can say Yeezy. Even his longtime fans who had defended a lot of his antics couldn't back him on this one. Kanye didn't just burn bridges, he grabbed a flamethrower and set the entire city on fire. West's career hasn't been the same since, and considering the sheer scale of his comments, it is hard to imagine a full comeback anytime soon.
Black people can't be anti-Semitic. We are Jew. You understand what I'm saying? We are Jew. So cool out. Until you do your facts, until you really do the facts with the fake indoctrination that y'all pull into the schools and all that, you know what I'm saying? We're not following y'all rules.
Number 15, Roseanne Barr. Roseanne Barr's career was on life support for a while until her 2018 Roseanne reboot suddenly became a hit. It was supposed to be her big comeback, but that didn't last long. In May 2018, Barr tweeted that Valerie Jarrett, a black former advisor to Barack Obama, looked like the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby. Yeah, she really tweeted that. The backlash was immediate, and ABC canceled Roseanne the same day. Just like that, one offensive tweet wiped out her entire show, and it wasn't just her that got hit. Her castmates, writers, and crew lost their jobs too. Barr tried to backpedal, claiming she thought Jarrett was white and blaming the tweet on Ambien. But her attempt to pin racism on sleep meds became a whole meme on its own.
Roseanne Barr launches an ear-piercing tirade as she attempts to explain the racist tweet that got her fired. The disgraced comedian looks out of it. She takes a drag on a cigarette and yells at a producer off camera.
Are you filming?
Yeah. Then Roseanne completely flips out.
I'm trying to talk about Iran. I'm trying to talk about Valerie Jarrett wrote the Iran deal.
I know, but you've told me this 300 times. Do you know that if...
That's what my tweet was about.
I know, you've explained this literally 300 times.
I thought the bitch was white!
Number 16, Nick Cannon. In 2020, Nick Cannon's career hit a wall, and this time, it wasn't for one of his questionable fashion choices. During an episode of his podcast, Cannon's Class, he made some seriously offensive comments. Cannon pushed conspiracy theories about Jewish control in the media. On top of that, he made derogatory comments about white people, calling them savages and claiming they lack compassion due to a deficiency linked to their skin color. Viacom CBS didn't waste time and cut ties with him immediately. Cannon apologized soon after, admitting that his comments were hurtful and showed ignorance. He later met with Jewish leaders in an attempt to educate himself and repair the damage. While some fans appreciated his effort to make amends, others felt his apology was a little too late.
I'll say it, yeah. So I stereotype. There's a stereotype for reasons. I'm prejudiced. All prejudice means is prejudging. Yes, I prejudge people. I do. If I meet somebody from...
Number 17, Jeffree Star. The beauty guru with an ugly past. Jeffree Star's career has been one wild roller coaster, and not just because of his ever-changing hair color. The beauty influencer's name has been dragged into drama more time than a Kardashian's Instagram account. But his biggest controversy stems from his past racist remarks. Old videos resurfaced, showing Star using racial slurs and making offensive comments. These were yike moments where Star was throwing out insults like confetti at a parade. When the backlash hit, Star apologized multiple times, actually claiming he was ashamed of his past behavior. While some fans forgave him, others felt his apologies were just damage control. His critics pointed out that Jeffree's controversies seemed to pile up faster than his eyeshadow palettes. Despite losing some brand deals and followers, Star's career hasn't exactly collapsed, but his reputation will probably always have a stain that no amount of concealer can cover.
You're black.
You're black.
I like your buzz net phone.
I like yours too.
Mine's black because I'm black. Yours is pink because you're...
Mine's pink because I'm pink. It's me. Black.
Really?
Number 18, Carla Sofia Gaskin. Carla Sofia Gaskin's controversy didn't explode out of nowhere. It crept up from her social media past, like an awkward high school yearbook photo. Old posts resurfaced where Gaskin had made racist and Islamophobic remarks, and honestly, they didn't age well. The comments included offensive generalizations and hurtful stereotypes that left fans shocked. When the post went viral, Gaskin quickly apologized, claiming she had grown since then and didn't hold those views anymore. But fans were already disappointed, and critics questioned how sincere her apology really was. Even though she tried to distance herself from her past remarks, her public image took a serious hit. Turns out, no matter how much you change, social media screenshots never forget.
Amelia Perez actress Carla Sofia Gascon may have just ruined her chances of winning Best Actress at this year's Oscars.
I find this deeply offensive.
If I were Selena, I would have freaked out about this.
It makes me really sad. I don't support and I don't have any tolerance for any negative rhetoric towards people of any group.
Babe, it's not lies and misinformation. You are openly racist and Islamophobic and xenophobic.
Number 19, Justin Bieber. Bieber's wild teenage phase had plenty of headlines, but one of the most damaging moments came from a leaked video that resurfaced in 2014. In the clip, a 14-year-old Bieber casually told a racist joke, asking, "Why are black people afraid of chainsaws?" and then mimicked the sound by saying, "Run, N-word, run." The video wasn't some quick slip of the tongue. Bieber looked fully aware of what he was saying, even grinning at the camera. Naturally, the backlash was immediate. Fans were outraged and critics questioned whether Bieber's public image as a pop sweetheart was just an act. Bieber apologized, admitting it was a childish and inexcusable mistake. He claimed he had since educated himself, expressing regret and showing public support for anti-racist movements.
Father's Day.
That's just mean. That's just straight.
Why are black people afraid of chainsaws?
Don't even say it. Don't say
Run, nigga, 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 nigga.
You can say motorcycle too, right?
Number 20, Hannah Berner. Hannah Berner's attempt at red carpet banter with Megan Thee Stallion ended with her facing serious backlash, and not the fun Twitter's being dramatic kind. During the 2022 Oscars red carpet, Berner interviewed Megan and tried to be playful, but her comments landed straight into stereotype territory. She made remarks that many felt were racially insensitive, playing into tired tropes about black women's appearance and personality. The internet did what the internet does, and Berner was instantly called out. While she later apologized, claiming she had no intention of offending anyone, critics felt her comments reflected a deeper issue, one where jokes about race still slip through the cracks disguised as just having fun.
No, your music has literally made me want. When I want to fight someone, I listen to your music.
Tearing up?
Because you want to throw that fighting shit out the window and you want to get cute and be a bad bitch. When people are talking shit, I go turn on Megan Thee Stallion. Body yaddy yaddy. I look beautiful. I look so great. Wait, no, you look so good. But I know, because I watched it.
So, what do we learn from all this? Well, if you are famous and had a habit of saying offensive things, the internet will find you. Doesn't matter if it happened 10 years ago or 10 minutes ago. Once it is out there, it is game over. Some of these celebs tried to clean up their mess, but for others, well, their career now lives in the nowhere found section. So, which scandal shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the next deep dive into Hollywood's messiest moments.